Okay, as added input to our previous lesson, let's try to answer these problems. Okay, this is under trigonometry. So let me read this problem. Two guy wires stretch from the top T of a vertical pole to points B and C on the ground, where C is 10 meters closer to the base of the pole that is B. If wire BT makes an angle of 35 degrees with the horizontal and wire CT makes an angle of 50 degrees with the horizontal, how high is the pole? So what we'll do first is we'll illustrate this problem for us to draw some formulas from that problems or some equations from the problem. So let's start by drawing the pole first. So let's say this is our pole, and according to the problem, the guy wires daw stretch from the top T of a vertical pole. So at the top of this pole is point T where the wire passes. Ayan, that's point T. Then to points B and C on the ground. So there is a point B and C at the ground. So we'll just assume that it's at the level ground with the base of the pole. So if this is the level ground of the pole, so somewhere below. Although hindi siya naka-state kung asang banda, is it at the right side or the left side, but in this particular problem, it doesn't matter. You can still solve the problem. Either we put one point here and the other point here, or both at this side or both at this side. Okay, but for this particular problem, um, let me just place these points B and C at the right side. O, dito na. Okay, and according to the problem, C is 10 meters closer to the base of the pole than is B. Okay, so we have C daw is closer than B at the base of the pole by 10 meters. So, yung difference ng distances nila is 10 meters. So, wait. Okay, this is 10 meters. Okay? Then, dyan nagra-run yung guy wire. By the way, guy wires, these are just tensional wires that are used to stabilize a structure. So, pwede din naman, no? Parang kung if we are stabilizing a structure, dapat yung isa nasa kabila. But anyway, lagay na lang natin dito. Para din naman yun. So, eto, let's just draw this wire running from T to C and running from T to B. Ayan. Then, according to the problem, if BT makes an angle, so we are talking about this, BT makes an angle of 35 degrees. So this is 35 degrees with the horizontal. And CT makes an angle of 50 degrees with the horizontal. So this makes an angle of 50 degrees with the horizontal. So this is 50 degrees. How high is the pole? So we need to get the value of H. So we already have the figure. So how do we now solve the problem? First, tingnan natin yung mga unknown sa figure. Then, based kung ilan yung unknown sa figure, those are the number of conditions that we need to look at. Then, from those conditions, we will now create the equation. So, as I've said kanina, first, kailangan natin ng unknowns. So, in this case, of course, unknown yung height ng pole. Unknown din tong distance na to because ang given lang is this distance. So meaning we don't know this distance. So this is another unknown. Although it is not asked, but it's unknown. Kailangan pa rin to sa solution mamaya. So let's call this x. So in this triangle now, we have two unknowns. We have x and h. So in order to solve for two unknowns, we need two equations. Okay? And in order to formulate or in order to create two equations, we need two conditions. Okay, so these conditions now are the triangles. So we have formed these two right triangles. Okay, so this triangle and this triangle. Both of these triangles are 90 degrees. Okay, now, lagyan na natin ng name. Ito dito, lagyan natin ng letter A. So if we consider triangle ACT, we have this triangle. So ano yung mga component or ano yung mga sides niya based sa na-identify natin? So ako din ang sasagot. We have this angle and we have the opposite side and the adjacent side. So therefore, we can use, to relate these three elements, we can use tangent, di ba? So we could say that tangent 50 degrees is equal to opposite over adjacent. Okay? Now, if we consider triangle, this one this time, ABT. So ABT, if we consider triangle ABT, so ano yung mga elements na andyan? We have, siyempre ako sasagot, we have the angle 35 degrees, we have the opposite side H, and we have the adjacent side X plus 10. Right? This is X and this is 10, so therefore this is X plus 10. So therefore, again, it's opposite and adjacent. Okay, the function involved here is also tangent. Tangent 35 degrees is equal to opposite H over adjacent X plus 10. Okay? Now, if you notice, pareho silang may H. And both equations meron na tayong two unknowns. So, two equations, two unknowns, pwede natin masolve. So, we just need to, para madali, we just need to equate H. Because, of course, H is equal to H. So, from here, H is X tangent 50 degrees. That is simply, we just move X to the other side. And dito naman sa kabila, of course, ito move to the other side. Sa kabila, that would be H is equal to, ibalik natin. H is equal to the quantity X plus 10 times tangent 35 degrees. So, we just need to solve for X. Isa na lang yung unknown. So, solving for X, we'll have, of course, you just need to isolate, or if you have a calculator na scientific calculator that could already solve for this, then you can just immediately solve for X. But respecting algebra, meron tayong ganito. I distributed tangent 35 degrees, so we'll have 10 tangent 35 degrees here. Then isolate natin yung mga X, we'll have X tangent 50 degrees. Yusin natin. Tangent 50 degrees minus X tangent 35 degrees, that's equal to 10 tangent 35 degrees. Then I'll factor out X times tangent 50 degrees minus tangent 35 degrees is equal to 10 tangent 35 degrees. So therefore X is equal to 10 tangent 35 degrees divided by tangent 50 degrees minus tangent 35 degrees. Then you'll have an answer in meters. So, kung makuha na yung value ng X, then we could solve for value of H. Because H is just equal to, using this, H is just equal to X tangent 50. Okay? So, we'll have X tangent 50 degrees. So, we'll have the value for H. So, ano na yung value ng X? So, kuha tayo ng calculator. Calculator to solve for this. So let me retrieve here a calculator. Okay. So we have this calculator. Wait. Tingnan mo na natin. Let us compare kasi di ko memorize. Okay. So we'll try to solve for this. That would be 10 tangent 35 degrees divided by tangent 50 degrees minus tangent 35 degrees. So it will retrieve, or that will give us an answer of 14 point. So X is 14.245. 245. Ayan. So solving for X now. So X is tangent, H now is X tangent 50. So our x is 14.245 multiplied by tangent 50. So h is 16.976 or 98 na lang, 16.98 meters. So these are all in meters. So this is now our answer. Okay? And by the way, if you want to solve dito, kaya naman ng calculator if you have this type of calculator. Pero much better kung mag-algebra gihapon. Mag-algebra pa rin dahil baka hindi ito allowed sa board exam. So, that's x tangent 50 equal to x plus 10. By the way, I am referring to this. X plus 10 tangent 35. Then just solve for x, shift calc, then that will give you a value for x, which is yan, pare pa rin, 14.245. Okay, then use that as our value for x. So x, which is recall x or alpha x times tangent 50. So if you hit equal, that would give us this. So that's it. Okay, now let's try another problem. Okay, so let's try to solve this one. Okay, wait. Observers at positions A and B, 2 kilometers apart, simultaneously measured the angle of elevation of a weather balloon to be 40 and 70 degrees respectively. If the balloon is directly above a point on the line segment between A and B, find the height of the balloon. So how do we solve this? First, of course, kailangan natin ng figure in order to visualize the situation. So, first let's draw that line segment between A and B. So let's say this is point A and this is point B. And according to the problem, these points, or the observers at points A and B, measured simultaneously a rising weather balloon or a weather balloon. Hindi naman sinabing rising, no? So meron silang mineasure na weather balloon. Okay? So let's say andito yung weather balloon na yan. Okay? Then anong sabi sa problem? The balloon is directly above a point on the line segment between A and B. So andito siya between A and B. Okay? So it's above any of these points. So let's just assume na it's right there. So pag measure sa weather balloon, of course, it is measured from A, ayusin natin, then also measured from B. So according to the findings, it's 40 and 70 degrees respectively, meaning 40 degrees for A and 70 degrees for B. Yung meaning ng respectively. So this is 40 degrees and this is 70 degrees. And the points are 2 kilometers apart. So that means 2,000 meters apart. So what we need to solve now is the height of the balloon. So from the ground, so this. So how do we solve now this elevation? Okay, so the elevation is 90 degrees from the horizontal. Ayan. So if this is now our figure, it is clear that we have drawn two right triangles. So this triangle here and this triangle here. So allow me to name the location of the balloon as point C and this point here as D. Okay. Wala tayong space below. So let me just copy this and move these two. Now we have these two right triangles. So if we consider ADC or consider triangle ADC, that is triangle ADC. Okay, so that would be this triangle. So ano yung mga involved na mga dimensions dyan? By the way, the 2,000 na value is for the distance between or from A to B. Okay, so etong whole distance na to. So that means etong dalawang distances dito from D to A and D to B are unknowns, as well as the elevation. Sige, pangalanan lang muna natin. So the elevation is called that H, yun yung hanapin natin. Then, eto siya, let's just call this X, and of course, this will become 2,000 minus X. Okay? Or this value is 2,000 minus this value. So, eto siya, value. Now, consider ADC, this triangle. So, ano yung mga involved dito na dimension? So, we have the angle 40 degrees, its opposite, and its adjacent side. So, therefore, we have tangent 40 degrees is equal to h over x. Hence, h, diretso na lang natin from, in light of our previous solution. So, we have h is equal to x tangent 40 degrees. So, now if we consider triangle BDC, so the involved dimensions are, syempre ito, the opposite and also the adjacent. So that's still tangent. Tangent 70 degrees is equal to h over 2,000 minus x. So, dali, sobrang nang dali. So, h is equal to 2,000 minus x tangent 70 degrees. So, solving for x, we have h is equal to h. So, we'll have x tangent 40 degrees is equal to 2,000 minus x tangent 70 degrees. So, we'll just solve for x using our calculator. So, wait. So, using our calculator, let's just solve for x first. So, we have x tangent 40 degrees equal to 2,000 minus x tangent 70 degrees. So, shift solve, we'll have x is equal to 1532.0888, so 01. This is in meter, no? Pero kung di tayo nag-convert, yung lalabas is 1.532 in kilometers. Okay? So that would be x. So solving for h now, we know that h from this equation, h is equal to x tangent 40. So we'll have h is equal to 1532.01 meters times tangent 40 degrees. So that would be the value of the elevation of the balloon. So 1532.01 multiplied by tangent 40 will have 1285.51 meters, or that is 1.285 or 286 kilometers. So that's our answer. That's it. Okay. Okay, let's continue with another problem. Show that the area of a triangle ABC is given by 1 half is equal to AB sine C equals 1 half BC sine A is equal to 1 half CA sine B. Wait, let us first draw the triangle. So let's say this is vertex A, this is vertex B, and this is vertex C. So this side is side A, opposite C is small letter C, side C, and opposite B is small letter B, side B. Now let us show let us try to prove these formulas that the area is, or the area could be solved by these formulas. Meaning, if you have a triangle given this one angle and its adjacent sides, then you can get the area. So kung ito yung given, may kuha natin yung area. Kung ito yung given, paano natin kukunin yung area? And kung ito yung given, pwede makuha yung area. Okay, so how do we do this? Okay, parang madali lang naman, no? We could pass a vertical line passing through C, or from C down to side C, small letter C, or side AB. Okay? And let's call that H. So if we want to solve for H, paano ba? Let's say ito yung ano natin, ito yung mga given. Okay? So how do we solve for the area? Okay, area is just the area of a triangle is just 1/2 base times height. Isulat ko na lang, baka ma-confuse sa letter B. 1/2 base times height. So in this case, this should be 1/2. Our base here is C. And our height here is the altitude H. Okay? So how do we replace H with either A, B, or C? Or in this case, since we are dealing with angle A, how do we replace H with B? Okay? So let's try to look at this triangle. Okay? So in this triangle, considering C, B, and A, what relation or what function could we use? Saka din sasagot. That's opposite and hypotenuse of this right triangle. So we could use sine. Okay. So sine A is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So therefore H is equal to B sine A. So substituting, we'll have A is equal to 1/2 B, 1/2 C times H, which is B sine A. So A or area is equal to 1/2 BC sine A. So ito na yung na-prove natin. Yeah, this one, 1/2 BC sine A. I think you can do the same with the rest. Just draw a line or a perpendicular line passing through one vertex. So dito, you just draw a perpendicular line here. Pero yun nga, pagkakadrawing natin parang 90 degrees na siya, no? Pero kung hindi siya 90 degrees, you can draw a perpendicular line passing through one of the vertex. So same approach as this. Then you can illustrate this and this. But, ganito. If you want to memorize this formula, pag given ang angle ng isang vertex and its adjacent side, so you just use this formula. 1/2 times the product of the given sides times the angle in between those sides. Okay, that's it. You can also derive another formula from, for example, kung hindi na sila adjacent. For example, how would we derive a formula kung hindi given yung C, instead yung given yung A? So ito yung given. So how do we derive a formula? So that's another problem. So you can derive that. So ang gawin nyo, i-derive ninyo yung formula, if ito yung given, A, B, and small letter A, or side A, then you just PM me your derivation. Okay? Now, let's look for another one. So next page na lang tayo. Okay, how about this one? Show that the area of ABC is given by this expression where S is the quantity A plus B plus C over 2, okay? Or the semi-perimeter of the triangle. So when we say semi-perimeter, half of the perimeter. So, sige, una natin gawin is, let's draw a triangle. Or eto na lang. Let's just copy this one. So, using this triangle again, pero let's delete the highlights. Ayan. So, i-show natin daw that the area is equal to this. So, actually, this area, or formula for area, is called the Heron's formula. Heron is a mathematician ancient mathematician, or makalumang mathematician galing sa Egypt, Alexandria, Egypt. So, isa siya dun sa mga famous mathematician of the ancient world. So, we have S times S minus A times S minus B times S minus C, where S is the semi-perimeter, that's A plus B plus C, or that is actually perimeter over 2, or semi-perimeter, half of the perimeter. So, P over 2, or simply, the perimeter is just the sum of the sides, A plus B plus C, but pumangit yung penmanship ko, divided by 2. Okay, that's it. So, that's called the Heron's formula. So, how do we derive this? Okay. So, ang gagawin natin is, let's try to look at this side. So let's call this side A, B, C, D, AD. So let's call this side D. Okay? Ayan. Sige. Si H na lang. Pwede naman si H na lang. Sa H na lang tayo para mas madali. So, if you want to solve for H, remember, wala tayong given na mga angles. The only given here are the sides, A, B, and C. Sorry. A, B, and C. So, walang angle dito sa formula na to. So, di tayo gagamit ng angle. So, all are sides. Now, so let's say this side here is X. Okay? So, solving for H, we'll have B squared, by Pythagorean theorem, that's B squared equal to, so sulat natin ha, B squared equal to H squared plus X squared, right? So, therefore, solving for H squared, we'll have H squared equal to B squared minus X squared. Okay? Okay? Now, looking at this triangle naman, again, this is another right triangle. If we want to solve for this side, and this side is actually side C, this C, again, etong C is etong whole na side. Now, if this is X, then this is C minus X. So, this side is C minus X. So, if you want to solve for H, dito, H is equal to the hypotenuse squared, A squared, minus this side, which is C minus X. So, that would be C minus X squared. So, if I want to solve for X, I'll just equate the two equations. Let's say H squared is equal to H squared. That would be B squared minus X squared is equal to A squared minus the quantity C minus X squared. Okay, then let us just simplify this. Now, if I simplify this, that would be B squared minus X squared equal to A squared. And then, expand na lang minus, let's expand this. So, magiging C squared minus 2CX plus X squared. Okay? Then, simplify further, we'll have A squared minus C squared minus, plus 2CX minus X squared. And my X squared both sides, so I could cancel this out. So we'll have B squared equal to A squared minus C squared plus 2CX. Or kung i-flip natin, or I'll just move this to the other side, then i-flip natin. So that would be 2CX is equal to B squared. Yung negative C squared magiging positive C squared. Yung positive A squared magiging negative A squared. So therefore, X is equal to B squared plus C squared minus A squared all over 2C. Now, going back to this, let's try to solve for H. By the way, why are we solving for H pala? Di ko na-explain. Again, we are using this formula. Area is equal to 1/2 base times height. So, sige, sulat natin dito using this ink. We know that area is equal to 1/2 base times height. So, our base here is C, right? Ito yung base natin. Then, our height is H. That's why we are trying to get the equation for H. Eliminate natin yung ibang mga dimension. Okay? So, using this equation, let me copy that para madaling reference dito. So, using this equation, we'll have H squared is equal to B squared minus X squared, which is B squared plus C squared minus A squared. Oops, what happened? Over 2C, then squared. So remember, ito yung X natin. Ito yung X natin. So this is X, and we just squared it. Okay? Okay. Then what should we do here? So we'll just combine these two terms. So we'll have h squared equal to, let's just first square the second term. That would be the quantity b squared plus c squared minus a squared squared divided by 4c squared. Okay, then let's get the LCD, which is 4c squared. Then 4c squared times b squared, that would be 4b squared c squared minus, of course, this divided by this times this. That would be b squared plus c squared minus a squared squared. Ayun. Then what should we do next? Let's factor this out. Or complicated na if we expand this. So if you notice, we could actually rewrite this as eto. Dito na lang ilagay. This is 2bc squared minus b squared. Diba? So we have at let's say this is one variable. A variable squared minus a variable squared. So that's familiar. That's a familiar form, diba? If you recall, u minus v, u squared minus v squared is a special product of, or a product of u plus v and u minus v, diba? So therefore, pwede natin ito siya i-factor out as a special product. Okay? So if we factor this out, that would be 2bc. Let's start with plus. Plus b squared plus c squared minus a squared multiplied by 2bc minus b squared plus c squared minus a squared. Okay? Then all over 4c squared. Okay? Then from this, ano pwedeng gawin na natin? To simplify this, let's just rearrange. Let's try to take a look at this. Kasi medyo complex na siya, no? Let's try to take a look at this first. So, let me rearrange that to 2bc plus, we could just take the grouping symbol out kasi positive naman. Or we just add. So, b squared plus c squared minus a squared. Okay? So, dito sa kabila, that would be 2bc minus b squared minus c squared plus a squared. Now, take a look at this. If we rearrange this into b squared plus 2bc plus c, eto, I just rearrange this. Yung b squared nilagay ko lang sa unahan, minus a squared. What could we observe? By the way, this is c squared. Ano yung pwedeng ma-observe natin dito? Okay? This is just a perfect square trinomial. This is the square of b plus c. Right? So therefore, ito siya is b plus c squared minus a squared. Okay? And how about dito? Ito naman siya, that would, if we rearrange, no. How about if we factor out negative, then we rearrange. So let's factor out negative, then that would become, I'll just factor out negative just for this, itong tatlo. So that would become b squared minus 2bc plus, plus c squared, then plus a. And so if you check, multiply this, that would be this, multiply this, that would be this, and multiply this, that would be this. Okay? So again, this is a perfect square trinomial. That's the square of b minus c, right? So we'll have negative b minus c plus a squared. So therefore, we could simplify this as, let me, okay. So we could rewrite this h squared as equal to, then let's take a look at this. Ano yung unang factor? Ito. So we'll have b plus c squared minus a squared multiplied by this one. So I'll just flip this. That would be a squared minus b minus c squared. Tama ba? Ayan. Sorry. Kulang dito. Naka-square dapat siya. Sorry ha. This is a perfect square trinomial. The square of b minus c. So I'm so sorry. Divided by 4, sorry. That's 4c squared. So let me just copy this and wala tayong space. Let's move to the next page. Next page. Okay. Now, to simplify this, that's this resembles a special product, right? That's u minus v. Sorry, u squared minus v squared, right? This is the same as u squared minus v squared. Same as this, u squared minus v squared. So therefore, this is just the sum and difference, the product of a sum and difference. So we'll have h squared equal to, remember that u squared minus v squared, that's u minus v and u plus v, or pwedeng interchange. So if we do that, unahin ko na lang yung plus, that would be eto, b plus c plus a times b plus c minus a. Okay, that's a factor of this. Now, the second term, or the second factor. Again, this is the same as u squared minus v squared. So, sum and difference pa rin. That would be, ayusin natin ha. That would be a plus b minus c times, kahit wala na itong grouping symbol dito, times a minus b minus c. Ayan. Then, all over 4c squared. Okay, let's continue. Then, let's try to rearrange ito. Let's rearrange, that would be a, ayusin natin, a plus b plus c. Then, yung pangalawa, that's negative a plus b plus c. Pangatlo is a plus b minus c. Pangapat is a minus b plus c. Ayan. Then, all over 4c squared. Then, let's try to examine this. Sa given kasi, may sinabi tayong semi-perimeter. Sulat natin ulit. The semi-perimeter, or half of the perimeter, that would be 1/2 a plus b plus c. Because the perimeter is a plus b plus c. So, therefore, this is the perimeter. Or, that would be 2s, right? Parang we just transpose this to the other side, so that would be 2s. So h squared is equal to 2s times, how about this? It's minus a plus b plus c naman, so it doesn't resemble this. Pero kung mag-manipulate tayo konti, sige, scratch tayo dito. Itong first term na negative a plus b plus c, itry natin i-fit dito. Okay? So, how about mag-introduce ako ng positive a para maging a plus b plus c. Pero para hindi mag-change yung value, I'll introduce positive a, or I'll add a minus a, right? Because this is just 0, diba? Kung 0 to siya, parang nag-add lang tayo ng 0. Hindi na iba yung value. Okay? So, we'll do that. So, therefore, this becomes, I'll rearrange a plus b plus c, a plus b plus c, minus a minus a, minus a minus a. So, remember that this is 2s, right? Ito. 2s is a plus b plus c. So, therefore, this is 2s minus negative a minus a, that's negative 2a, or 2s minus 2a. Hence, this is 2 times s minus a. So, therefore, this particular term dito is, this is 2 times s minus a. Now, if we do the same for here and here, this will become 2 times s minus b, and this will become 2 times s minus c. So you can check that by doing what I did here. So the second term is, eto na lang unahin natin ulit para naka-arrange siya. So that would be 2 times s minus b. And yung pangatlo is 2 times s minus c. Then all over 4c squared. Okay? Now, we could cancel out 4 sa 2 times 2. We'll have h squared is equal to, oh sorry, meron pang 4 pala. Meron pa tayong 2 times 2. So we'll have 4s, s minus a, s minus b, and s minus c all over c squared. Then if we want to solve for h, so extract the root both sides. So the square root of 4 is 2. So that's 2 times, may iwan sa radical sign sa square root, yung s times s minus a, s minus b, and s minus c. Then you divide that by, again, the square root of c squared is just c. Yeah, so that's the value of h. And remember, we are trying to trying to solve for the area, which is 1/2 base, which is c, ito yon, times height, which is h. C times h. So if you multiply now 1/2 c times h, so let me just copy and paste na lang, times h, so ito yung h, maka-cancel out lang yung 2 and yung c. So therefore, the area is just the square root of s times s minus a, s minus b, s minus c, or the heroes or herons. Sorry. Formula. Then that's the heron's formula. Then pwede na lang i-memorize to where, so you may just memorize this, where S is the semi-perimeter. That's it.